the first person I'm doing my
Oh
virtual
my God.
interview with. So congratulations. And honestly, of all people, you're the one that can actually handle, hold shit down, make shit natural, authentic. Because I want people to know that's watching this, like we're not really trying to do a lot of edits. Like we're trying to be as natural as possible and talk about real shit. So
Fat.
go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
I'm I'm Woodah. Woodah, aka Woodah 3 times, aka Big Woo, aka Lil Woo, all that. You know what I mean? Ah,
And sir, where are you from?
I am from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but I currently stay in Brooklyn, New York.
Where you
Best
at?
I.
I didn't hear
Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn, New York. The sty to be exact.
you. So actually, me and Will. Am I allowed to even say your real name?
Hell no, it's Woo. Lil Woo.
We went to high school together, so I'm also from Winston. So this is really fun that we're actually like, well, how old are we? Like, I'm 23 years old. You're 23, and we're
Yeah.
here on this fucking call right now. Like,
Yep. Old as fuck. Old as fuck. Oh, can I cuss? Is that allowed?
I mean, I just cuss, so.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yep. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Been rapping for a little minute, been on Jen for a little minute, and it's always a great thing when you have two entities, especially two black entities that can take a talent that they have individually and come together and make something with it. So we definitely appreciate generational marketing. You know what I'm saying? I helped her with the name. She ain't gonna tell you that though. She ain't gonna tell
That's
you.
from the beginning, because honestly, I remember when we were in school. I told you I was like, as soon as I get my marketing degree, what I say?
He was like, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna start a business. And I was like 20. I was just like, all right, do that shit then. Looked up because I wasn't even on the socials for a little bit. I looked up. Nigga talking about business. I said, business. I said, oh, you okay? All right. See, there, that's it.
Um, yeah, it's wild how like quick everything kind of happened because the company I was working at that you first was introduced to, like that kind of just started everything, like my ideas, and then I just branched off from that, did my own thing, and you kind of
Fact.
still maintained rocking with me. I appreciate that
No,
for
you know,
sure. Today, my biggest goal right now is for you to talk about what you're passionate about. You know, the meeting that you've been rapping about. I really want to get into those types of questions. So I first want to ask you, how did you get so comfortable with being vulnerable with your audience?
nah. Honestly, it's something you still gotta work on. You gotta work on it every song. Every song you gotta make yourself get vulnerable again. And it's just been fortunate because I've always had like a tight knit, I think, support group as far as music. You know what I'm saying? From the Winston team, from the Raleigh team, from now that I'm out in Brooklyn. And so being vulnerable feels like I'm actually telling people that I actually have to talk to, like friends, like how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different level. It's not like fame where, you might talk to somebody you never know. When you really start out, you talking to your friends, them the people listening to your song. So when you vulnerable, when you talking about depression and stuff, it's really you in a room with your dogs and they listening to it like, damn, bro, you good? So you got you got to get over that, and that takes a while. You know what I'm saying? And it definitely means a lot because through making music you realize that, okay, I can talk about a situation that I probably went through, like, just by myself individually. I don't know nobody else that went through that exact same situation, but if you talk about it in a vulnerable way, people will be like, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? And like they'll feel that. They'll feel those feelings, they'll feel those same emotions. So, the more you connect with people, I think the easier it get over time. But it's definitely something that you gotta keep working on because it's easy to get sucked into that mainstream shit where you feel like you gotta portray an image, or you gotta talk about certain things, or you gotta, put on, you gotta be angry, you just gotta be. When in reality, like, you can really just be yourself, and people, respond well to that. Because I think everybody gravitate towards somebody that, feel and can like articulate what everybody feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If that answer your question.
It did.
Thank you, thank you.
Explain your rap name, and then I'll explain how I found mine.
Bet. All right, Woodah. So Woodah is my family name on my mom's side, And on my dad's side, my family name is Third, so I did like Woodah 3 times, Woodah three, all that. Um,
Mhm.
and at first, like it wasn't always there. You could look up some old music. I didn't always go by Woodah. At first, growing up, I didn't really like that shit. I ain't like when people called me that outside of my family. But once I grew up and I moved away from my family, like people calling me Woodah, it made me feel like I was at home. So I changed the name to Woodah because I was like, I don't never want to forget myself. And no matter how far I go or where I go, like I always want to feel at home where I'm at. So, when
Mm.
people call me Woodah, it feel like, damn, I'm back near, I'm back, where I started out in Winston with my family. You know what I'm saying? And that just keeps me close to my roots. So, Woodah.
I guess that makes sense. Like it just forces you to remind you of your old self, I guess.
For sure, for sure. And like, I don't want to portray nothing like, at the very core, like that was the first name I had. Like, my mama called me Woodah. She don't never call me my real name. So, it's just like, all right, like when I come with this music, I'm trying to be authentically myself. And who know you
Mhm.
better than your dukes or your family? So, like, that's why I go by that shit. I'm like, all right, Woodah. Like, so when niggas call me Woodah, they gonna know. They gonna be like, all right, we know who he is. Like, it ain't no portrayal with that.
Right. Well, I guess I can talk about how generation marketing was found.
Tell them.
I remember calling you. Like I remember I was in Indiana waiting to get my makeup done for a wedding because my cousin was getting married and I was sitting outside talking to you and I'm like, yeah, I'm about to start my own shit. I don't really know what I'm about to call it. Like I think I was brainstorming with you. I think I said J Digital. Like I was just thinking in my head, like, and I don't even remember what you said where you were just like, you just said it. Like, you were just like, why don't you just call yourself? I think I even said generation marketing, but it wasn't
It
like,
was no J. Yeah,
there
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
none of that.
I like, bro, you just change that shit, switch that up, bro. Your name,
Use
boom,
your,
that shit fit. Use your name, and
that
that's
shit
hard.
was
That's
hard.
hard. That's hard. I be seeing it now. I be like, damn, that shit hard. That shit hard
And
as
I
fuck.
appreciate that because so many people, like, actually, people call me generation.
What?
People are calling me generation marketing out here.
What she talking
Like,
about? She breaking generational curses.
what's up? And me.
What?
But it's just that's what you're doing too. Like your music, people listening to that, like you actually talking about real shit. I mean, you are also influencing the same type of audience.
trying, trying. I feel like what I'm saying. Somebody got to talk, and I don't know. I be having a lot to say, so if music is a space where you can say what you need to say, then shit, might as well, cause nobody really trying to hear what you got to say on a day to day out here. Like I realized that as a kid, cause I feel like I've been rapping since I was like 12. And at first, when I started rapping, I was like, man, I just want to be cool. You know what I'm saying? I want to be at the lunch table, beating and rapping, freestyling.
It
Like at the
was.
time, the girls was fucking with it. Like they was, so it was like, oh, let me rap. Like that shit cool. And then as I got older, I was like, oh, let me, I'm got more serious with it and everything. But at the same time, it's like it's always been a space that people actually care what you have to say versus like in normal day to day. You realize in life as you grow up, nobody really talk to each other. Nobody really give a fuck what you got to say. But like music is the one space where it's like, all right, if you got something important to say, everybody will at least like listen to it and respect it. Even if they can't necessarily agree with it, they'll respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's authentic and it's you.
Mm. I literally remember in high school, people. I remember this is before I even knew you. There was a big circle around you, and there was this little chubby kid. And I'm
Yo,
like, who is this guy? Like,
bro, that shit was, bro. Oh my god, back in the day, I was in the my man marching band. I was in
yes.
marching band, y'all. So I was trying to not only, bro. Oh my god, they had played a song. They had played a song for the football players to run down to. It was me and the dude I was cool with at the time had made a song. I remember that, and then we would be in the stands playing, and they stopped playing. I'd be rapping and shit while they playing their little notes and stuff. My band director getting mad at me, and then
Say a
I'm
man had a dream.
look, it's since day one. Since day one.
Hello, and that's your story.
Look, it's been a minute too. Like, and that's it. Definitely, it's a muscle you got to work there. I've been trash. I've been spitting trash. You can find it. Ain't always been nice. You know what I'm saying? It take time. You know what I'm saying? But it was always fun too. Learning that, going through that journey. I feel like everybody that do their little entrepreneurship thing, like you have moments where you look back, you be like, damn, like my first project was ass, or like that was
Yeah.
trash, or like, damn, that was what the fuck is that? Like, what was I even thinking about when I did that? But you come so
Mm-hmm.
far, you be like, okay, well, I'm here now, and like I'm still progressing, and like the things I'm
Yeah.
making now, the things I'm saying now, are from a foundation that was built off of that work. So, you know what I'm saying? Gotta definitely pay homage and like kind of appreciate that shit. So I definitely appreciate the journey. I appreciate the game more than what the game give me right now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And honestly, if you keep staying consistent, you're gonna. We've always. I literally talk, but consistency is literally everything. Like
For real.
everything.
For
But we
real.
about to see a different side of you this year when it comes to social media. Just so you
You
know.
see, you see the twos, 2022s.
2020. All right. So back into like, I really want to ask like really one question as far as like when you chose,
What's happening?
like rapping about mental health, and I know you said like staying away from mainstream. Like, how hard was it for you to maintain your brand? I guess.
Oh, very hard, very hard, especially when you know what I'm saying. You trying to build something, and the hardest part about building something is like you get to a point where you realize you got to see it before anybody else see it. So for a while, you feel like you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you try to do something different. So you really second guessing yourself. So I spent a lot of time second guessing myself and second guessing my brand and trying to make that music that I thought people would want to listen to. And like I still fall into that trap sometimes, but I realized that the music that is already out there or the brands that are out there for a reason. And you know what I'm saying? And I have to fill a niche that's not already there. And I have to find that by being myself because there is only one me. And
Mm.
if I emulate, a J. Cole, if I emulate a Future, if I emulate a Drake, then I don't have no real reason for somebody to listen to me versus just listening to them already. You know what I'm saying? So it took a minute, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I realize like if I have a brand, like I need a brand, and so if I have one, it has to be something that I can really like push and be proud of, and like I can't push something that's not like me. You know what I mean? So it's taken a minute. It's definitely been something that's been like a process.
I'm not gonna lie, I do relate to that, especially since recently you just said me breaking generational curses. Like now that I'm fully speaking about everything that I want to speak about, like it's been so different for me. And it's I think it's been like 48 hours since I've changed my brand. And I already and I already feel like so much better, like just on my day to day, like feeling like I'm actually being what I like wanted to be all along.
That's hard.
Um, so it's like I definitely understand for sure like what you mean by that.
For real. For real. It's just a process, but you just get closer to yourself. And like
Mhm.
I think I heard some crazy quote. Somebody was like, "You got to be patient. You trying to meet somebody. You trying to become somebody you never met before. So you got to be patient. You know what I'm saying? As you find that person. So it's like I'm trying to be patient with myself as I find myself, but continuously add to my brand like building blocks. And over time, we're gonna build something that's generational.
Go ahead and say my name right
Yeah.
there. No matter if you say generation, generational, no matter, baby. You can talk about me.
fact, fact, fact.
Um, well, honestly, my next question for you is like, what artist inspired you to get you started and get everything flowing for you?
Man, artists. I think roots wise, like going back, it was definitely growing up and like the type of music my mom would listen to. Like my mom, when she would clean the house, like she was listening to all types of shit. Like I was listening to Korn, Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin, everything from Adele to just wild shit. Growing up, I think it was that diversity of music that made me fall in love with music. Then I started doing different band. I was in band and stuff, and I was playing different instruments, and I just fell in love with writing music on like a composition level. And then over time, like I really fell in love with hip hop. Like once I hit like middle school, I really got dove deep into hip hop. And I think some of the first rappers I really was like idolizing and still do is like J. Cole, definitely. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
Everything he was spitting about coming from Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
like that was just so dope to me. So I think him opened the door for like, okay, this is a Carolina cat really rapping. And then I think around like 12, 13, I started getting into different artists like Hobson and Logic and Mac Miller, and from there it just grew. You know what I'm saying? And I was definitely always with the Waynes and the Drake and the Cash Money and Diddy and Biggie and Jay and all them rappers and everything. But I think it really started, with just a true like appreciation of like, damn, like how the fuck are they doing that? You know what I mean? Like, so every artist that I listened to where they put some words together in a different way, I was like, yo, I want to do that. I think I can do that. And J. Cole coming from Carolina, it was like a personal challenge because I was like, yo, this nigga stay down the street. Like, what make him better than me? Like, and so I'm 12 years old listening to Cole. I'm like, bro, I could do that. I could do that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So they really started from there. And over time, like I'm still pulling inspiration from other artists and other genres. And I've been listening to a lot of 70s and 80s. Like I've been listening to hella Marvin Gaye lately, just pulling instrument, what I'm trying to say, inspiration from that. Um, and I think that's just how it works. It's a lot of artists that help you and inspire you, but at the same time, there's so many different genres that it's like that you gotta appreciate everything that come with it and give homage when you got to.
So with you like writing your music, it's just something you've always naturally been good at doing.
Nah, nah, nah. I think it really started with poetry. You know what I'm saying? Because I was really big into like poems and stuff. Writing poems, writing poetry, and writing spoken words.
Mhm.
And I think it started from there. And I think over time it became something like a rhythm and a rap kind of thing. But nah, the writing thing was always something that was difficult. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'm still one of them rappers that do the pen and pad. Like sometimes I got to take it old school to where my mind going so fast I can't even do the typing on the phone. Like I got to really slow down and really write down and think about what I'm saying. So it's definitely a process, and I think that's the hardest part about being an artist in today's game is, when you really respect the process and you really like, okay, I'm really trying to spit and really trying to talk to these niggas. Like sometimes you realize, damn, I got to take a step back, and that shit take a little time. So you really got to be careful about how much time you spend in writing versus actually like recording and promoting and pushing music. And that's something that it took me a while to figure out, and I still work on that on a day to day. You know what I'm saying? And not getting caught up too much in just one little area, and not having too much tunnel vision and actually looking and seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, I was talking to an artist another day and she was telling me of like little small things she'll do. Like she'll play music, hear one word, write it down, play another song, hear another word, write it down, kind of like to practice her ability to
Oh,
be able to create sentences. Do you have
for
anything
sure.
like any tips like that?
For sure. For sure. Honestly, like I write a lot. So like every night I'm probably up writing. You know what I'm saying? And I just turn on YouTube. I turn on like who such and such type beat, and I just let it play. And as it play, I don't stop it or nothing. And whatever I've had written at that point, when it flow into the next beat, I take it and I flow and match the flow of that next beat and just try to mend. So I'm constantly molding like what I'm writing until I find something or I find a flow that I'm like, oh, I like that. And I might be 6, 7 beats in, writing something. I write a verse, I get writer's block, and I'm like, I don't really like this shit. Luckily, it play another beat right after that. You start writing something new. So I'm constantly trying to like push the fold as far as like what I'm doing, how I'm flowing, what I'm talking about, and like what beat I'm gonna put it on and what sound I'm trying to make. Because I never want to come off like, like a long ass CD, one long song. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make different
Mhm.
experiences. So you got to do it on different beats, and you got to test yourself and get outside your comfort zone.
Okay. I don't know how you could do that shit, but whatever
Yeah.
works for you. Whatever works for you.
So
Um,
so
it's wild. Because I'm trying to think, as far as like with like the work that you're doing, like how do you know like when you're like, all right, this is done? Like, because I know a lot of people, like especially with me, like I'm a perfectionist. Like, how are you just after you're finished with a song, like you're just gonna let it be?
man, sometimes I'm gonna be honest. I'm such a perfectionist. Sometimes I'll drop music to stop myself from being such a perfectionist. So
Mm-hmm.
when I drop a song, like I probably listened to that song about 1,000 times already. Like I'm just trying to say I'm done with it because I'm tired of picking it apart. Like I need to share this with people because
Right.
once y'all hear it, that's it. That's the version that y'all know. So I definitely fall into that where I'm like, I'm listening to a song and I'm like, no, I don't like what I said. And like, I don't like one word I said. I'm not one take Drake. When I'm in the studio, like, I might do several punch ins. I might do the verse one time, but several times. You know what I'm saying? Just to where it's like, okay, this is something that I like. This is a good recording. You know what I'm saying? This is a good take. And that takes a minute. And the hardest part about music too is like being in that same mode to redo a song days after when you might be in a different mood. You know, that's been a hard part of the game too, is like being in the moment. Like I definitely take time in between each song I'm doing because I know how hard it is to come back. And I'm such a perfectionist. I'll be listening to music in the car and I'll be like, nah, I didn't like that line. That's I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like
Even
that.
after it's been dropped, you still feel like this.
Oh, bro, I listen. That's the thing too. Is like I'm not trying to shit on myself. I feel like I make good music. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely listen to my music, and I'm like, all right, the best is definitely yet to come. And like I'm proud of the fact that I see progression in that first album to my second album to my third album. So I'm like, okay, you can see that I'm growing up, but I'm not grown. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely want to come across with like, all right, this is a position of somebody that is like it's taken a while. He has done the work. He's put in the ties. He's paid his dues, and now it's in a position of just spitting game and teaching niggas and just spitting knowledge. Like and I feel like I've had to go through things to be in a position to where I can speak on certain things. And I still haven't been through everything yet, so that's why I feel like okay, I have some time and some like growing to go through before I really get to the point where I'm like, all right, that's where I want to be as an artist. So I definitely feel like the best is yet to come. I still got some life to live and some experiences to make. And as I like go through those experiences and give it back to the music, it's just gonna be more and more and more, and just keep going.
Yeah, I definitely feel like since, I've been seeing your growth in your music, like I can see exactly what you're saying with like the progression. But I will say you're a bit hard on yourself, just like anyone else.
Look,
Come on now. You gotta give
look.
me credit.
I feel like that's the thing too. I'm trying to work on this year is being my biggest fan. Like I definitely am my biggest fan, but I'm also my hardest critic. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
like ain't nobody gonna be as real as yourself. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to be able to call yourself out because everybody else gonna care about your feelings, but you the only person that can really eat that shit. So I'm very raw like in the studio. Like I've had different producers tell me, bro, chill, bro. Like it's not that bad. And I'll be like, nah, bro, do it again. Like I gotta run it back. We gotta do it again. Or they'd be like, bro, I can fix that. I can make it. Nah, run it back. Let me do it again. Just
Right.
cause. You know what I'm saying? Just how I am. And like once I finally drop the music, it's just like okay, like I'm proud of this, and this is something I can stand behind. And I definitely say like all the music I've dropped, I'm proud of because at the time I dropped it, that's what I needed to say. But
Right.
I definitely feel like everything hasn't been said for sure,
Mm.
for sure.
Well, we are excited because honestly, we're part of the journey. Like honest, you're the main character. You basically can relate whatever you want. Like that's what's so great. I feel like with music, like it's literally all story. Like as an artist.
Yeah, for real. For real. It's beautiful too. And like you see that people like appreciate your story and even though your story is individual, like as you talk about it, people like they resonate with it. They be like, oh, okay, that certain emotion or that certain experience, like I relate to that. And then next thing you know, you connecting with strangers. You connecting
Yes.
with so many more people than you thought you ever would. And like moving to New York, like I've met and been exposed to people and places that I've never thought I would have seen before. You know what I'm saying? Just through music. So definitely, really appreciate it and appreciate where we at right now.
Yeah, you 100% left North Carolina.
Well, I just think it's be saying that
Makes
shit like that.
sense because they say like where you try to make money at, sometimes you can't do it at your like home. Like you have to. Some strangers will spend more money than your freaking friend.
Got to. And for me, it was just like I saw it was no rat. Like I definitely like North Carolina is great, and I see niggas getting money in North Carolina. Keep getting your bread, son. I just saw for me, I had to do something different. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And I think that different route is gonna pay dividends definitely over time. You know what I'm saying? But I'm definitely in it for a long time, not a fun time.
I don't blame you.
For real.
Um, to kind of get things a little bit more on the serious tone.
Whew,
You ready?
whew.
Clearly, I only want you to say what you feel comfortable in speaking about, but obviously, like mental health is something that's affected you. Do you think because you're a man, it's been harder for you to process what you were going through?
I think I wouldn't say it's because I'm a man. I think that everybody, regardless of gender, they process things and things are fucked up. and things hurt and feelings, and people go through pain and they go through trauma and deal with those in different ways. I will say though, in this society, and we kind of do it to ourselves as men, we create this kind of toxic environment where you
Mm,
can't really be human, so it was a lot of experiences I went through where I was dead on the inside, but I had to put on this face as a man to not show any weakness. Not even, and there's no not, but it would be around people I love, people that would accept me for my weakness. But in my own toxic masculinity, I just couldn't show that weakness. If I did, it made not only what I was going through real, but it made me look like I wasn't handling my shit. You know what I'm saying? It made me look like I was regretting decisions that I made. And as a man at your core, you're supposed to be able to handle decisions that you made. So it's very hard. I would say being as a man, being, exposing how you feel and talking about your mental health, because you build these walls and these parameters around what you can talk about and how you can act and how you feel. And it really takes a lot to really break those walls down. And over time, you find those experiences and you find the people that you're like, okay, I feel safe enough to, really be myself around this person, and you get, sometimes you get a good reception, sometimes you don't, but that's part of life. You just got to take that. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily like harder for men. I think we just put this placement around what we believe we can, care about and how we believe we can react. And that's been so internalized and passed down generationally that, it sometimes it's very hard to come out of. You're not even, some people aren't even aware that they're hurting. Some people aren't even aware that they're sad. Some people aren't even aware that they're angry. They think that's just who they are. That
mm,
they think that's what it means to be strong. They think,
mm.
what it means to be tough. But, once you break through that and you get on the other side, you realize how much energy you were putting in different places and you get some of that power back. And as a man, and especially as a black man, I've always said, like, a black man with a calm mind and the ability to make clear decisions can really change the world. It just takes a lot to get there.
No, yeah. Honestly, I'm so glad that you didn't make it gender based because I know my question was like, does strictly men, like you feel like as a male, like you have issues? Because I related with so much that you said. Because me being a woman, I wasn't really allowed growing up to be sensitive. So me being cold hearted, me being nonchalant, me being closed off was just something I've always been taught to do. And, even when I felt comfortable trying to talk to people about whatever I had going on, I didn't tell a soul. And it's like, it's so weird that people who I trusted, people who I felt like I was loyal to, I couldn't even be my true, authentic self. And it's like, I still to this day am still trying to figure out like what was the disconnect.
I think I'm gonna be honest. I think it's just it's no real personal disconnect. I feel like it's just society and then a need to protect yourself. Like, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, especially because nobody that hurts you 9 times out of 10, and I'm not talking for everybody experience, but personally, most of the time you get hurt is from people that you know. So how will
Mm,
you lean on people that you know to heal your pain when the people that you know 9 times out of 10 hurt you is hard? You know what I'm saying? And then at the same time, because pain is one of those things that you feel is so individualistic that you feel like nobody can relate, nobody will understand, or you feel like people will look at you different, or you feel like,
yeah.
maybe I come off as complaining, maybe all these things, all these different anxieties, I feel like go in your head around it, especially like as a kid, like growing up, you hearing about, you see all these things going on around you, and it's like, I need a moment for me. Like, who's gonna be my moment? Who's gonna hear me? Like, I need somebody to just stop walking, stop talking, just listen to what I gotta say. And as a child, it's hard to make enough noise to really, bring that attention. And so a lot of times you get, especially for men, young black men, you get a lot of anger, you get a lot of acting out, you get a lot of just doing wild shit, doing crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's no knock. Sometimes you got to get it how you get it. But at the same time, I know growing up, it was a lot of times where I saw brothers who was in pain, who was going through different things. And even myself, when I was going through different things, I would act out. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm,
I wouldn't get the attention that I needed to, for somebody to sit down and, talk to me. And the people that was trying to do that, I felt like I couldn't talk to. I told myself I couldn't talk to them. And it took me a while to realize that, like, I don't have to be that strong. Like, I can
mm,
be weak. And I tell people all around me all the time, the only way you stay strong for a long duration of time is granting yourself the grace to be weak in certain moments. and over time, you know what I'm saying, you build yourself up and you heal from whatever you're going through. But it's hard. It's definitely hard to open up to people, to feel like they're gonna understand and to feel like they're not gonna look at you different, and also to feel like they're not gonna spread your business. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? That's a big one. It's really hard to trust these niggas. Like to really talk to a nigga and really feel like, all right, what I tell you is not gonna go to nobody else, and also it's not gonna get used against me in the future.
Against you. Oh my
You know what
God.
I'm saying? That's really hard. You know, that takes time. Like, and I think that's the main reason niggas really don't be wanting to talk. You know,
Yeah,
because society has created this environment where it's dog eat dog world. So you
it
just trying to
is.
make it. You just trying to eat. You just trying to survive. And you ain't got time for none of them feelings and shit.
It seems like to me, like, since I relate to what you said and you kind of have similar things going on, like maybe this might just be an issue like in the Black community, like being able to be vulnerable, not pretending to be like this strong, especially with
Oh
women.
yeah.
Like, being
Oh yeah.
strong is what women have to do, especially as a
Oh
Black.
yeah. For
Um,
sure. So
and it's hard.
look at any black woman. Like you have, like I look at my mom and I'm like, dog, how the fuck did you do that? Like how did you take care of the house? How did you work your job? How did you take care of me? How did you take care of dad? And vice versa with my dad. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they 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 put all this energy into being strong and getting it done and getting out the mud. And I respect and I see why like so many black people we don't talk about our pain, because sometimes you feel like you don't have time. And not only do you feel like you not have don't have time, you don't have the energy. You know what I'm saying? You just spend all day working, you know what I'm saying, 16 hours or some shit. You don't feel like coming home and talking about how you feel. You just want to go to sleep. Or vice versa. It's like when you have the time to talk about those things, you just want to be happy. You don't even want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? And I think we have to create spaces for ourselves, and that only happens through fixing the the problems that's in the country as far as like health inequities, institutionalized racism, financial inequities, all these different things that has been built around and taking away our space to just be human and just to breathe and to really analyze how we feel and to be present in the moment. I think once we fix those real issues, those systematic issues, and then we like create spaces for black people to actually feel and to be able to just catch their breath, that's when you'll have a lot more open engagement about how we're processing and how we're dealing with things. But right now I know so many people, including myself, where we're so caught up in survival mode that you don't really have time to analyze how you feel, because you're just trying to get to the next moment, you're just trying to get to the next paycheck, you're just trying to get to the next job or the next house or the next career or the next wherever you're trying to get to. But it's always movement, and ain't no time to settle and chill because you just don't have the space. And once we find that space, then we gonna tap in.
And that's what's so wild to me when you said survival mode, because I had no idea that I had so much anxiety, what I had really going on until I finally left my house, like finally left
Yeah,
the toxic environment. So my freshman year of college, like I remember how I was just sleeping all the time. I gained 45 pounds. Like I became more quieter. Like I never wanted to even really talk to that many people. Like the person that I turned into when I finally like wasn't in that space, it made me in a more depressive state because I felt like I was moving almost like I was in denial and
yeah,
pretending to be something that wasn't the reality.
yeah,
And it caught
yeah.
up, like literally caught up to me when I was sitting at ECU.
That's real. That's real. I think when you leave your home environment, you really expose like all the worst parts of yourself, all the best parts of yourself, but also all the worst parts of yourself, all the things about yourself that you thought was you, or you thought, or you chalked it up to your environment. You actually realize like that's me. Damn, like, because I remember
Mhm.
in college, like I was moving pretty nuts in college. So I was always real piped up. I was always real tense. I was always like looking. I was always on edge, and I used to tell myself that it's only because of the environment. It's because of what I got going on. It's because of the drama and the routes and the decisions I made and the life I've tried to you know, mesh or build for myself. But then you take yourself away from college and you realize, damn, I'm still looking over my shoulder. I'm still tweaking out. I'm still not trusting nobody. I'm still assuming the worst. I'm still ready to fight every morning when I wake up. So it's like, damn, I got some real issues I need to work on. And you don't really realize that until you get away from those spaces that kind of can
Yeah.
mask them. You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, the wildest moment for me, because I knew like the abuse that I was dealing with as a kid, like definitely wasn't okay. But I definitely was in denial about that for sure. And it took me to take because you know, like your freshman year when you take all those surveys, like substance abuse, whatever, they're just trying to like. When I
Yeah.
do these surveys, I'm like, I can't even answer these questions. Like, like I literally had the most eye-opening experience. I'm like, I knew something wasn't right. When I was answering these survey questions where it's like, have you been hit to tears? And I'm like, yes. Um, did he stop after you said stop? No. And it's like, as I'm going through these questions, it's like, I literally knew this shit wasn't right. But when you're told as a little girl, like, you're crazy, like, you're just going through the day to day, like, this is your dad, like, he really isn't trying to hurt you, like, you don't even want to process what that actually could mean if he was trying to hurt me.
For sure. For sure. And that's a
It's,
wild experience. We definitely fortunate that you made it through that experience and that you had that opportunity to like sit down and analyze that. But even that, like you realize you was so caught up in life that you didn't have the space. And the space
mhm.
had to be thrown at you. And then once you analyze that space, you realize like, damn, this shit fuck. This shit ain't right. You know, and
Mm-mm.
it's hard. I think that space isn't naturally created for a lot of people.
Yeah. So that's mainly why, like, I just really want to just talk about my experience. And that's why I wanted to interview because you talk a lot about mental health. And, like, honestly, you helped me a lot with kind of like processing things whenever I was first, talking to you. What was this conversation like a month ago?
Yeah. I appreciate it. Nah, for real. I'm just trying to. I feel it. I definitely. I feel it. It's real. Everybody's been saying it's real. I think the last couple of years, everybody's been like, "Oh, mental health, mental health, mental health," but it's real. You know what I'm saying? And I hope it doesn't lose its importance. I hope it doesn't come off as a trend. It's definitely something that people feel, people deal with, and once we get in a space where we can deal with it, and analyze it, and talk about it, then we'll really like heal from it and move forward. And have the space to where we can have the strength to do what's necessary to get done. Because right now we trying to do that shit from a tired position. Like niggas is tired. You know what I'm saying? Niggas are trying to change the world, but niggas is tired.
Hmm.
Niggas. So it takes a lot to practice that self care to rejuvenate yourself and put yourself in a position where it's like, all right, I can get to this money. I can really eat. I'm good. Let's go.
Right. For the last question, what
Bet.
could you tell your old self?
Man, I definitely tell myself, bro, just keep going, bro. Just keep your head down. Like I would say, don't listen to the noise. I tell myself that like trust yourself for sure. I think that's would be the main one. Just trust yourself. Like it was a lot of times growing up and recently even where I'll be feeling crazy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, damn, like that's not gonna work or that's not the way or the second guessing the stuff down or whatever. And I would say over the past couple years, every single time I bet on myself, the reward has been like bountiful. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
I would just go back and tell myself, like, just trust yourself, bro. Just keep doing what you're doing. Do more. I would always say go back and do more. Like don't waste as much time as you did figuring it out. But once you figure it out, like trust yourself to once you feel like all right, that's the way, like go ahead. Like don't second guess it, just go. That's definitely what I'll tell myself.
You gotta also tell them where they can find your music now.
Oh, they can find my music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Google Play, YouTube Music, all that shit, everything. Amazon Music, all of it. Look me up. It's Woodah. It's spelled Woodah. I got a new album out. It's called Growing Pains. My recent single, Broke Pain, is pretty good. I ain't even gonna lie to you. You should go check it out. But go listen to the tape. It's definitely a run through. You gotta, ride out when you listening to it. It ain't shuffle music, but you know what I'm saying. Go listen to it. Go check it out.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming on my YouTube channel. This has been super fun, exactly what I expected it to be.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
Authentic. Just, keep doing you, keep doing good things. The efforts
Appreciate
that
it.
you're doing, there's someone listening to your music and it's actually benefiting them and helping them out with whatever mental health that they have going on as well. So,
That's what it's all about, man. At the end of the day, wouldn't be here, wouldn't be this far, wouldn't be this confident, wouldn't have made it through those trials and tribulations if it wasn't the support that I'm getting from the music that I'm putting out. So everybody that's listening to this, if you fuck with the kid, I appreciate you. If you don't fuck with the kid yet, go fuck with the kid.
go ahead and tell everyone your experience with Generation Marketing.
Oh, my experience. My experience has been. I'm not biased. The experience has been great because it was really the first opportunity I had to sit down and analyze. Okay, what do I want to do as far as this music thing, and how do I want to break it up, and not look at it from an overwhelming perspective of it's so much. It's this big mountain to climb. Like, how do I break out as far as marketing plan? And I think generation marketing was great because it helped me sit down and really break things down into like a quarter basis and really looking like what do I want to do and what trends do I want to follow throughout the year and like what makes sense as far as what my brand and what message I want to portray. And also like challenging me to be authentic and be transparent and be real and share more as far as social media. I'm not inertly somebody that likes social media. I'm not inertly that somebody that likes to share my life and what I'm doing. But I realized that in this business of music, if I want to live a life doing music, I have to share enough of myself that people will care about, like enjoying and care about, actually tuning into. So that's been something that has been a challenge over time, but definitely have been held accountable by generation marketing. So that's what you really need on your team. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it all yourself. You need somebody to hold you accountable and check in and be like, did you do your TikTok? Did you do your reel? Did you do this? Did you do this? You need to do this.
Doesn't
You
like
need
it,
to
but
do
I'm
that.
on his ass though.
On your ass, definitely on your ass, but in a way that is productive and it's like, okay, these are the little things that I need to be doing to really get shit done and not just be somebody that's talking like I want to do this shit and really be doing this shit.
Mhm. Yeah, that's normally my goal, trying to make it as consistent, scalable as possible, be here on the day to day. Like, there's so many times, like, I tell you all the time, like, if you need me to look at a caption, send it to me. If you want me to look at a picture before you, like, anything that I can do to help support you and help motivate you, like, that's just what I've been trying to be for you at this
So,
point.
so tap in, everybody, tap in.
So just breathe.